Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Pragmatic Talk. I'm Scott.
And I'm Susan.
And today we're going to be talking about when it makes sense to actually use voice.
Voice has become a really hot topic these days, and it seems like everyone is rolling out either an Alexa skill or has some hot new voice app that they want their users to check out.
So where does voice originate from?
So voice actually is not nearly as shiny and new as people want to think it is. And actually it has a very humble beginning.
And what is that?
That is it's interactive voice response. So if you think of the automated phone tellers that you deal with, that's actually what they came from. And their origins were to make it easier for people to do things without needing a live person. So it's very interesting to know that this brand new fancy object that's sitting in my house actually is a glorified phone tree.
So with that being said, when does it make sense to consider creating a voice skill or a voice app?
When it makes sense is when you go back to what it's for. Does it make something easier? Does it make it faster? There are actually some tests that have shown that in order to order a pizza off of a voice app, it actually takes more inputs and efforts than it does if you were texting or if you just called. That's when you have to rethink whether or not voice makes sense. Sure, it's exciting. Sure, it's something that, does everyone have one? But if it's not going to ultimately benefit the user, it's not going to have the staying power because maybe the novelty will be there, but the users won't still use it. In fact, you can actually see that with Alexa skills. When you look at the retention numbers and which ones are being used, it's the most useful ones. It's the ones that have been put together the most thoughtfully. It's not every single one being used. It might get used once or twice, but then usage just drops off significantly because if it's not valuable to a user, they're not going to keep using it.
Yeah, I just saw a stat yesterday that something like 70% of apps on a phone are only used for about a week, and then after that people stop using them. So really we're talking about the same exact thing here. You want to go through and make sure that what you create actually has some longevity so you actually get an ROI, and so that you're providing your audience with value beyond just being able to interact with your brand.
Absolutely. And so just like as it came to having everything needed a mobile app, it didn't always make sense. The same is going to apply to voice. And where does that put us? That puts us right back to a user-first approach. What are the important tasks and can I make them easier to reduce friction? It isn't about making it easier for my customer service representative. It isn't about making it so that I can data mine. It's about making lives easier, making tasks easier to accomplish.
Well, and ultimately, I think if you make it easier for your audience to engage, if you make their tasks easier to complete, it is going to benefit you and the organization.
Absolutely.
So, you can get some of that data, but you can't put that as the primary reason why you're doing something. You want to make sure that your primary reason is to provide value to your audience, and then learn from what they're using, learn how they're interacting with it, get that customer service information that you're looking for, potentially use it to save money on customer service, provide better service. But again, it has to be in the context of providing value to your audience.
Absolutely. If voice is something that is going to be a natural extension of the tasks that they want to do and they could be made easier, say ordering something or retrieving some information, or if conversational language is going to enhance their experience, absolutely, it makes sense. But if you're not going to be providing any of those additional things and you're actually going to make things more difficult because of a gimmick, then it's best to just pause and wait for there to be a different technology that makes sense. Thanks for joining us on Pragmatic Talk. And be sure if you want to hear any additional information, you can check out our podcast.
Our podcast is available at anchor.fm/pragmatic or on your favorite listening platforms.
You can also get our daily flash briefing off of your Amazon devices by simply saying, "Hey Alexa, open Pragmatic Talk."
And coming soon to Google Home as well.